my friends, and welcome back to EVE Online with me, Mark from DadX, and we're back in the wormhole with Red Willow Charante. Now, as I mentioned in the last episode, you see we've already got a buzzard to keep us company in here today. We'll talk about that more in a moment. In the last episode I mentioned it's probably time to move on, find some new places to explore, and I do intend to do that very soon. And in fact, the contents of this episode really prove the point. Now, there's a buzzard in here. He's got his own core scanner probes out, so he's no real threat to me. I'm at my safe. He can't scan me down. Combat probes is what we need to keep our eye out for. To be honest, if my Heron came face to face with a buzzard on a site, I'm the one with the combat drones. Although I have seen Tech 2 exploration frigates fitted for combat, it's rare. Now, I've just popped up to an ore site here, just because I was asked just to have a look at what was up there. So there you are. There's a wonderful selection of ores. I apologise that I don't have a ship in here, obviously, with which I can scan the asteroids. But there's a selection of ore. I can't tell you quite how much. I don't know how such those information websites such as eWiki have been updated, eUni, etc. But that's what's there. I just can't tell you quite how much. Anyway, this episode is all about what to do when you've got some company, really. This shattered wormhole has a high sec static, so every day that wormhole collapses and then respawns into another high sec system. That leads to this wormhole being very busy, basically overpopulated. There's not enough to go around, and it also makes it much more hazardous. As I've said time and time again, I very rarely come into wormholes from high sec because they're either looted out or they're camped. So that's one of the reasons it's been quite busy around here, but we've still managed to make nearly 250 million ISK so far. And our journey has hardly started, really. So I'm going to get on with the scanning here. Just keep on going with the D-scan. The buzzard has now cloaked himself up, I would assume. This is a very small system, bear in mind, and that is relevant to what goes on here in this episode. It's quite a small system. Most of the signatures you see are always within D-scan range. So I'm going to assume that that buzzard's cloaked. If you can see him on the D-scan, he may well be hacking. He can't be hacking and be cloaked. In fact, there you are. He's reappeared right there. So he could be merrily hacking a site. I also don't know, and it's something to bear in mind. He could be more scared of me than I am of him, to be quite fair. My ship is called Hackerjacker. There's a little bit of a kind of a camouflage, just to make people think. Although, to be honest, this was a combat Heron, this hull, until I refitted it to bring it in the wormhole. I'd set it up to try to ambush a guy that was bushwhacking explorers in a manticore, and I was pretty confident if I could get him to come for me, that the Heron would do the job and burn him down. Actually, somebody ended up doing an adventure, because manticores are that easy to kill if they're not ready for you. So we're getting some joy. In fact, there we go. We've got a data site, so there's hackable sites in here. Now the question is, do we go and start hacking? Now, we know no one lives in the wormhole, well, unless they're living here like we do. There are no structures. We don't have to worry about too much of a resident corp. I have been keeping an eye on the kill boards. There's nothing really much going on. I'll show you the kill boards a little bit later, maybe. But there's nothing really to report. But there's only one box left on this site up here that hasn't been hacked, and that is always a bad sign. I'm not going to linger. I'm going to get a quick scan of that box, probably just to prove a point, I hope. But someone's been up here, and I don't like that. That means somebody could have taken all the good stuff and it'll pop back up here. If they see me on the D-scan, maybe they've got it bookmarked. Come kill me. I'm not going to hang around. There's nothing in that box. It's empty. We're going. We'll carry on scanning safely from our safe spot. So long as no combat probes appear on our D-scan, we know there we are safe. If we start getting scanned down when we're there, we're just going to log out, I should think. We'll see if we ever get to that point. Anyway, so we're going to go back there. We're just going to carry on scanning down this system. Keep an eye on the D-scan, see what's happening. The buzzard, I think, because he's showing on the D-scan, is probably on a site himself right now. There's no reason for him not to be cloaked if he's not. So we'll just have to maybe just leave him to it. I'm just being very cautious. We'll see what else we get as a scan result. See if there's anything we might go and have a look at. But I'm going to play it safe. Remember, we've got about 230 million on board at the moment, and I'm playing accordingly. If we were at the beginning of our journey with not much in the hold, I'd be a little bit more daring just to get the loot going, but not now. Anyway, have a look. There's a Legion has appeared on the D-scan right there. It has replaced the buzzard. Now, what does that mean? What does that tell us? It means the Legion could have killed the buzzard. That's a possibility. The probes from the buzzard will stay on the D-scan till they expire, so we don't know. He could have called in the mate in the Legion, said, oh, there's a Heron knocking around in here, come and have a look. I don't know. What I do know is there's a very dangerous ship around, so we're going to have a little look around here, see what we got. We found another relic site, but do we go and have a look or not? Now this is an issue here of the buzzard has probably gone. In fact, I don't even know if the buzzard has gone. The buzzard could have cloaked. Now here we are in a wormhole. This is where no local can be a bit of an inconvenience, because I've no idea how many people are actually in here with me, so we're just going to have to play it safe, aren't we? But we're here at our safe spot. We're going to scan as much down as we can, look at the wormhole, see what the connections are like. Do we hang around, see if we can grab a bit more loot? Let's see what we can get scanned down, and we will have to then make a tactical decision as to whether we want to risk it for another bit of loot or whether we just want to get out of here. For now, at least. I'm going to go up to this relic site and just see what state it's in. If it's been touched, we're leaving immediately, but this one is untouched. And I find it hard to believe anyone would have been up here without hacking something, which leads me to believe probably nobody has scanned this one down yet. It could have spawned just before I started hacking. It has been available to be scanned since I started, so I don't know. I mean, the buzzard could still be scanning and the Legion could be lurking. We're going to be careful. I'm going to scan a couple of boxes and hack them. There's a couple of million in that one. I'm scanning all the boxes as quickly as I can. If one's got particularly noticeable loot, 4 million is the best box that I can find, so I'm going to dash over, try to hack the 4 million-isk box. And I think we'll call our luck well and truly pushed. I think my spider sense is tingling. But since no one's been up here, I'm just hoping. I don't see any combat probes. I don't see anything decloaking. That nobody's got this one bookmarked yet. And I've got time for a quick smash and grab. So 900 grand in that box. I hacked that one just while I was cargo scanning the rest of them. I've got the one with a 4 mil identified, so we're just going to head over and get that. Of course, the fact that nothing on this has been hacked on this site is no guarantee there's nobody lurking here cloaked. I just feel it's a little bit less likely and a bit more of an indication that nobody's probably scanned this one down yet. So that's the basis I'm working on. But yeah, I definitely feel that I'm kind of pushing my luck. Certainly for the loot that's on offer, but this episode really isn't wow, look at all the loot I made. It's like, wow, you can get away with pushing your luck a little bit, but these are all the indicators of when you know you are. I think generally speaking, if you know you're pushing your luck, there you go, there's the 4 mil box, so we're just going to get out of here. If you know you're pushing your luck and you're playing in that frame of mind, in that kind of mindset, ready to warp out, ready to run, you're obviously just making it a little bit less dangerous. It's when you stumble into those situations. The other thing I could do is I could work with a much lower D-scan radius, so that basically I can see if probes are getting close to me, whether they're core scanner probes close to the site that I'm on to scan it down, or combat probes scanning me down. But then I'm going to lose the overview of the system, maybe miss that Astero as it comes through the hole and cloaks up, so I don't want to do that. I'm on another relic site that I've scanned down. Situation is the same, heightened state of alert. Basically you play this with one eye on the overview. From the moment you land on grid, you're ready potentially to warp away. I've got my warp out pre-selected there, the epicenter. One button to click to get out. So I'll just, if somebody does decloak on you, whether it's at the warp in or during you hacking or moving around the site, you've got a few seconds of their cloak delay before they can start locking you, and then their locking time. So as long as you're ready and your frigate and your fingers are agile, you should hopefully be able to get off grid into warp before they can lock you up and pin you with their disruptor or their scrambler. Big ships such as the Legion, or I should say bigger ships, are much slower to do stuff including locking you than an Astero would be. So you're a little bit more likely to get away from a decloaking T3 than you are from a decloaking Astero, just because their lock speed is likely to take longer. But just be ready to run. Don't worry about the loot. Give up the loot, especially when you've got this much loot on board. You want to just prioritize your safety. Some very hard hacks today, or high level hacks I should say, for not a huge amount of loot at all. But we'll make what we can. As you see on the D-scan, only my core scanner probes are still on there. That could mean somebody else has moved on, pulled their probes, gone. It could mean they've scanned down all the sites, including the one that I'm on, and they've pulled their probes now, so they can focus on coming to kill the little Heron that's been on their D-scan for about 20 minutes. So we'll see. And to be honest, if we get jumped, let's see, it's a drill. It's a drill. If this all goes wrong at the end of the day, you know we're not going to cry. It's an adventure after all. But more than enough loot. I actually managed to take the time to blow up a box. The explosions are beautiful when you do. So it's worth doing now and again just so you get to see it, isn't it? And to be honest, if I do get caught, it's because, as far as I'm concerned, somebody's outplayed me or I've screwed up. So can't complain about it really, can we? And well done the guy that outplayed me, and stupid me if it was me who screwed up. That's basically the way it goes as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, if you just get caught when you're going through a wormhole or a gate, caught in a bubble and you're dead, that's not really a high skill thing, that's more to do with patience. With experience, you feel more and more comfortable in situations, and you don't feel that you're the one, you know, the underdog, so to speak. If I'm getting hunted, yeah, I can mess with the hunter. You saw in the nullsec, Alpha Goes to Nullsec video, that I messed with the guy trying to scam me down there. It was a bigger system, so I could bounce around much more than you can in this wormhole. It's one of the reasons you do need to play. You do need to realise whether you're in a big system with lots of space to disappear into, or as we are here, we seem to be in a wormhole where pretty much the whole wormhole is de-scannable from pretty much anywhere. So you do need to bear that in mind. You can take the time, even in a tiny system like Sailin, you can find a deep safe that you can sit at and you're not on a D-scan. No one's on your D-scan, obviously, but it means you can be in space, not cloaked, and kind of invisible to a great degree. If you can find that little corner of a system, it's quite a good place to find. Anyway, we're just going to head home now. We made about 15 mil, so not bad. We've had an interesting time, but was I over-stressing over what was going on? Let's have a little look on the kill board, shall we? Now, I'd actually neglected to check the kill board before I'd come out for this little run, and it may have put a different complexion on everything, to be honest, but I'll let you figure that out for yourself. So if we look on here, we will see that a man from Wingspan has been lurking, and right when we were there, he's got a buzzard and the capsule. 113 million's worth of buzzard, an empty capsule, so that's quite wise. But let's have a little look. It was Wingspan in the Legion with a large smart bomb, and obviously you don't need to lock up for a smart bomb, so they kill you very quickly. Not much skill in there involved, Wingspan. You used to have so much class, but there you go. So if you landed in that guy or on that guy going through a hole with that running, or he just gets decloaked and starts that running on you, you're dead. Why is there a Sister's Core probe launcher on there? I don't know. 27 million added to the kill. You were in a buzzard. That gets its own bonuses. What were you trying to scan down? Guys, tell me if you used the Sister's Core scan probe launcher and what benefit you actually find from it compared to the alternatives of the rigs and the mid slots, etc. I just find that a little bit odd. But anyway, he'd done a bit of hacking. Cloaky Legion, decloaks, turns on his smart bombs, kaboom, 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 pew, pew, pew. And he got his pod. If I'd seen that all this had been going on during the day, I might have thought twice about going and hacking those sites once I'd seen the Legion. But I got the 15 mil, so I'll let you guys decide whether I played that exactly right or I got really, really lucky. I certainly only lingered on the sites that didn't seem to have been scanned down yet. Anyway, this is the next morning. I'm just hacking a quick box or two up here on this site. I'm mostly looking for wormholes to find a nice place to relocate to. I think the pickings aren't as rich as I'd like them to be, and it's just a little bit busy. But we'll plod along. It's all going to plan so far. We're not dead. That's the main thing. But always keep an eye on your D-scan. Always be aware of what is going on. And hopefully no disasters will befall you. Only you can decide how much risk you are prepared to take, to be quite honest with you. Your comfort level is yours to decide. Anyway, we shall keep being very careful. One thing that is always going to make me run is that. You see that? Combat probes on my D-scan, a very small system, nowhere to run to kind of mess with the guy. I also do not want him getting any kind of fix on my safe spot location, which he could do quite quickly if I was unlucky and he was good. So we are literally going to warp off to our safe and log out. We have no timers running, so in theory this will work absolutely fine. I'm also using just standard cheap probes today just to see what I could or couldn't scan. I've left them out. I nearly pulled them, as you may have seen, but I want to see if they kind of auto-return the way that they do if you dock up or go through a gate or a wormhole now, so you can't kind of leave them behind like you used to be able to. So I've never tried that, so I'm going to log out with my probes in space. Failing that, they should be there for me to reconnect to if I can get back into the game before they've expired and died. My login back in did get delayed by some business I had to attend to, so my probes had expired. They certainly weren't there for me to get, and they obviously hadn't auto-returned to my cargo hold. So do bear that in mind. I wouldn't have even tried that if I'd only had one set of probes. If I'd lost my probes completely there, hadn't had the sisters' probes ready to replace them with, luckily in that situation I had a couple of wormholes scanned down already, so I could have gotten out into high sec or low sec to go to the shops. You'd have been rather stuck, so do make sure you pull your probes before you log out, that's for sure. Anyway, I've got Nastero in local with me today. He just seems to be getting on with hacking. I'm not going to go risk getting near a Nastero. Not in my little Heron anyway. There's a Magnate out there too, plodding around getting his scanning done, getting his hacking done. We're heading down towards downtime, so I'm just trying to get everything scanned here before downtime. My plan is to log in straight after that, have a little mooch around and move on to a new wormhole, which is where we will be seeing you in the very next episode. So we've made about 15 million ISK here, but I don't think this episode is about that. It's really about what to do when you're kind of at yellow alert, when you know there are people around. You can keep going, you can keep hacking, but be careful. Anyway, for now guys, we'll leave it right there. I'll see you very soon in another wormhole. Leave it a like if you've liked it. Any comments, ideas, suggestions, questions are always welcome down below. Subscribe, click that notification bell so you know when the videos are coming out. But more importantly, take care, fly brave, and goodbye.